Hello, my loves. Hello, you beautiful beings. Welcome to this very sacred space. I am so excited about today's little conversational topic. I actually just had to jump on after preparing dinner and all these things. I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to go talk about what's going on because this is so huge. And one of my roles as a mentor or a coach or a teacher or whatever you want to call it, just a guiding light, is to be an inspiration. And one of the things that is happening within my life is watching the manifestation of all the work that I've been doing internally. And so if you've contemplated doing this work and you resonate with a lot of what I share or offer in this space, I invite you to follow that little yellow brick road leading you to the gold because there's beauty. There's beauty on the other side. Mm. And so that is why I very much just have to jump on here and share what's going on with you guys. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Randy Morgan. Thank you for stopping in. I am so grateful that you're here, and I hope that you find some value in what I offer today, whether it helps you on your journey or inspires you or just entertains you for a few minutes. I hope there is something to gain for you. Thank you so much for being here. So, I have been navigating the tumultuous inner journey of coming out of a dark night of the soul for a very long period of time. Um, it all happens to us once at least in all of our lives, sometimes more than once. I think I've definitely had at least two that I can count. And one of the things that I've been practicing and I would say initiating through these processes is that I had to reintegrate a level of belief in myself. I had to reintroduce new levels of accepting and loving myself for who I am and in all its dark and shadowy aspects. And one of the things that I really struggled with was insecurity. Insecurity was like a haunting presence in all life circumstances. It was just like one of the things in, or one of the highlights you could say in my dark night of the soul was to feel insecure, to feel unsafe in my body for long periods of time, for very prolonged periods of time. And it didn't matter what I was doing, I just felt unsafe all the time. And so, one of the things that I've been noticing manifest is I not only feel safe in my own body now, through the work that I've been doing, but now I'm watching that internal stability manifest itself in external ways. And so one of the things I want to share is when I when I moved into this new space. I'm so sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background. He's upset that I'm upstairs right now. Give me one moment. Go lay down. Oh my lordy lord, I hope you didn't have to hear me yell at him. Um so I will share with you a brief experience of how my insecurity was manifesting itself. Right, because our external world is always just reflecting how we feel internally back to us. And I was quite conscious of that. However, it doesn't excuse the fact that I still interpreted these experiences in a way that was hurting me. And so, just to break it down, I would pass by a neighbor on the sidewalk after I just moved in. And one of the things that I'd always like, or I shouldn't say always, but I had felt very sensitive around was community, because I didn't feel confident coming out into my community. I didn't feel confident within the community that I had, because I've slowly, like, I moved to a new place 4 years ago. I've been integrating. I've worked several different jobs with several different types of people. Some that I got along with, some that I didn't. And not that there was any like bad things that happened, but at one point I isolated myself so much after having come into a new community. And I think one of the things I really struggled with was being a homebody, but allowing myself to be a homebody. I didn't like to go to events. I don't like to drink. I don't like to party. I had that phase of my life. Don't get me wrong, if that's what you enjoy, whatever floats your boat, dude. But I lived that part of my life. I lived, a good 9 years of partying and doing all the things and the drugs and the alcohol. And, I had my fair share of festivals, and I just, it's not my cup of tea anymore. And that's fine. We all have our cups of teas at different points in our life, and you're not always going to love the same tea, and that's totally cool. But for me, it was hard to find community because I didn't like those kind of social events that people normally gather. Um and so anyways, I struggled to integrate into the community, and I moved to a new area in town. I live in a pretty small town, so everybody kind of knows everybody, but I never felt like I had a place, or I never felt like I was a part of the community in a way. Like, I contribute working a ton, but not in not in a really social way, I would say. And because I'm a homebody, I would overanalyze how people would see me. I was like, oh my God, I didn't open the blinds today. Like, they're gonna think I'm a, and I was like judging myself through their perception because of my feelings of insecurity, right? Feeling unsafe in my own body and in my own being, and then it manifests in this way. And so it's really interesting when we can see how our own emotional home and our own emotional way of perceiving the world and the narrative that we hold within, and how that then creates our life experience. And so one of the things that I I would go through, is, I was integrating into a new neighborhood, but I would walk past neighbors and I felt like they were ignoring me. It was like, oh, I know that they're my neighbor, or I know that, um, and my landlords, at one point I had a conversation with my landlord, and he knew everybody's name on the block, which isn't that far out, because where I live is a pretty small place. But to me, I was like, I don't know anybody on this block. I've briefly met her, I've briefly met him, and but but it's always in a quick passing. And and I felt like I would feel ignored, or I would feel insecure, or this way or that way. And I didn't really interact with them. I didn't really see them that much. I didn't really, there wasn't a lot of like passing, or I didn't see them out in the town either, because I'm a homebody and I don't, I wouldn't really see them much at all. And so when I did, and then I felt ignored, or I felt this or that because of my own perception coming through insecurity showing up in me, I kept having these experiences that would present themselves that made me feel that insecurity, right? That's why we have these experiences that show up, is so that we can deal with the undealt with emotion that's happening in our body. And so it's really funny to even think about it that way, that life is just giving us what we need to heal. And so the reason I kept having these experiences where people were ignoring me, or I felt ignored, or I felt rejected, or I felt this, or I felt that, was to make me move through the depths of the insecurity that I was feeling in my own being on a very deep level. And so one of the things that's starting to present itself, right? I've been cultivating this safety within me, this confidence within me, so that and while at the same time healing the insecurity and healing this feeling of unsafeness that I lived with, right? A dysregulated nervous system and just living in a pure trauma response um really takes a toll on someone. I'm sure many of you who resonate with what I share here understand. And so what's been happening lately, I've been doing the work. I've been going within. I've been sitting with the feelings. I've been sitting with the insecurity. I've been, super mindful and hyper aware of what I'm feeling. And when I feel an experience that's uncomfortable, I reflect and say, okay, like what is within me that's creating this experience? What part of me needs to be seen, needs to be heard, needs to be loved, needs to be healed in order for me to move through this experience. And after doing that several times, some parts of us take more healing than others. This one was definitely like a cord to a root part of me that was from childhood, of being rejected or being unseen, or showing up as my authentic self and being laughed at. Experiences like this are, what I would navigate while meditating in these healing practices. And long story, I have done the freaking work internally, and I'm starting to see my external reality manifest the internal, right? The internal reflection of what's going on inside of me. And I'm telling you, it is so fucking beautiful. Pardon my French. I don't swear a lot on here, but when I do, it's because I'm getting straight with you. Like I cannot minimize the impact of internal work anymore, because now that I'm seeing the external manifestation of what it looks like when you really, really get to your depths and the and release the depths of suffering that happen within us as we grow older, and just through our means and needs to survive. I am freaking blown away. I'm blown away because the experiences that are now presenting themselves, kid you not. I was walking down the road, and I struggled with my landlords because I have insecurities with housing. I have insecurity with my stability. I had insecurity in all these areas. And so with these people, it would present it, I would be like, oh my God, they're talking about me. They're going to kick me out. Like, what if they don't like me? What if they don't like my dog? Or, and so I would try, like, I would notice myself like avoiding or not making eye contact, and I saw my landlords as I left. Me and my dog were going for a walk, and we had a quick little chat, and then we went separate ways, and then I went down a path and found them, and then we ended up walking together, kind of, sort of, but one behind each other. And so then we were just kind of like, haha, and saying hi. And then I went for this whole walk. And a lot of the times, one of the other things I would struggle with is my dog. My dog can be sometimes aggressive towards other dogs, never towards humans. He loves people. People love her forever and ever. But sometimes, like, if a dog's bigger than him, he would feel threatened, or, he's kind of just a cranky old man at this point. And I accept that. But I also had to accept that I couldn't take him down pathways where I knew other dogs were walking, because sometimes it would cause conflict and then it would give me anxiety, blah, blah, blah. And so I would avoid pathways. I would avoid certain areas of where I knew were high traffic areas. And today we went in a high traffic area. The sun was out. There was no reason for it to be a quieter day in this nature, on this nature path, but for some reason we ran into nobody. There was no conflict, no nothing. And we just walked peacefully, and then on our way back I saw some neighbors, and they were like, "Oh, hey, you're Randy." And I was like, "Oh, hey, you're Sabrina," or blah, 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 blah. Or sorry, I don't mean to mention names, but Kathy. It doesn't matter. And it just, I'm experiencing such different, like, I want to say wholeheartedly, like a complete shift in my reality as to what I had previously experienced 6 months ago. where I had felt insecure in all these ways inside myself and unsafe and unstable, and now I'm in this place of feeling more confident and more secure in my body, and because I've been doing that freaking work, and I tell you it is so important, because the rewards of feeling this good in my body and feeling safe, and and then watching my reality reflect that, and my neighbors want to talk to me, and my landlords like it's like I'm seeing the beauty in which I've cultivated internally, whereas before I was seeing the shadow that I was hiding from internally. Does that make sense? And so this just feels so freaking significant to share with you guys, because I'm blown away. I'm blown away how beautiful life is creating itself to be because of how I feel internally. Ah, and it's straight up, it's honestly, I'm going to keep preaching it because it's what I do for clients. It's what I want to do for people, is help people get from surviving and suffering to thriving and joyful. But of course, it takes me doing that within myself to get there. And now that I'm actually getting to the there, I'm like, you guys got to get on board with me. Like, hop on the train. We're going, because it's beautiful and it's magical. And so if you're here and you resonate with my videos, I truly hope that it's helping you in some way, shape, or form, and helping you move mountains in your life and on your journey, because it's truly what I want to do for people. It's what I feel like I was born to do. And so if you have made it to this far in the video, please do like share a little something or drop me an emoji, give me a heart. Just let me know that this has impacted you. And I don't need a whole story if that's not your jam, but if you drop a heart and give me a thumbs up, I'm just so grateful to know that this is at least reaching somebody out here who needs it, because I am telling you, it's taken me a lot of work, a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, it's taken me a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get here, quite literally. Which is funny because in a previous video I talked about how you don't have to use blood, sweat, and tears to be worthy, but there is an essence of release that I had to go through, right? I had to go to the depths of my pain in order to heal and learn from a lot of things within me that needed that process, right? And so we have those parts of ourselves, we have these inner children, we have inner child, that need to be seen, need to be heard, need to be loved, so that you can unravel and feel safe and be authentically you and express yourself without the need for validation or fear of judgment. I feared judgment every minute of my life at one point. Like, I feared everybody's perception of me always. And that means that when we do that, we also cultivate our life to be liked and appreciate, like, we reach and search for validation, and we do funny things because of it. If you look at the human behaviors, like the spectrum of human behaviors to receive validation, like that, the one of the really obvious ones is like big macho man and his fancy cars, you know that's just one really brief and superficial example. But people with their big egos and like, look at me, I and my fancy, you know there's always, and I mean there's also women out there that do the look at me and my fancy, or however you want to. That's super stereotypical, I'm sorry. But you get what I'm saying, is like there's so much more beneath the surface. And if you want to live a life of true fulfillment, it starts internally. And, I did the chase. I had all the money, I had all the things, I had two houses, I had two of everything, I had the vacations, I had it all. I had it all at one point. All. And by all, I mean I had all the material gains I could possibly need, want, and desire. And then I wasn't happy, and I chased a fulfillment down a whole other road that led me to my dark night of my soul. And then through the other end, where I discovered my purpose. And now I'm like, holy shit, watching it all unfurl is magic. It's fucking magic. I'm sorry I'm swearing, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you guys to get to where I am because you freaking deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. And I am going to help you get there every step of the way if you keep showing up for you. And that's all that matters. Show up for you. Watch my YouTube videos. Learn, grow, reach out if you want to learn more or if you want to work with me privately. I have a wait list for online clients, but I also do recorded sessions where you don't even have to meet with me. You can just order a recorded session or a recorded soul session and send me your intention, send me the healing that you need, send me or I also do energy readings as well. Right now I only have my email going, no website up and running because things are shifting, but there is so much benefit in doing the work you need to do. You don't even need me. Like, let's be honest. I've done this work by myself for a very long time. Of course, if you need extra support, I highly recommend, because we do have areas where we need space held for us, because when we're in a trauma response or we're moving through the depth of our own suffering, there's a lot going on, and it's much easier together and to navigate together. But I digress. You can do this, and maybe you are doing this and you're also starting to see the manifestations of your internal work externally manifesting, but this is the literal, like, this is the nectar. This is the nectar of life. This is where life has taught us, go to school, go do this, go do that, find the wife, find the husband, have the babies, and you will be happily ever after. And then you go and you do all those things and you're not happily ever after. Well, now we're in a reality where our happily ever after is finding what brings us fulfillment internally by going within. And one of the things that feels so significant in this moment is we experience the depth of joy at the capacity we allow ourselves to experience the depth of pain. I'm going to let that sink in. That doesn't mean to cause self-suffering, but it means to allow yourself to navigate the tumultuous waters of the inner world. There's so much beauty through those dark, dark nights. So much. And it's always darkest before dawn. So please don't forget that. You were born to overcome. Born to overcome what you're navigating. And I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. And I believed in me until I believed it. And you got to believe in you until you believe it. And then just keep going until you start to see your world reflect back to you the beauty that you begin to feel internally. I can't rave and rant about this anymore. Well, I can. I can't. I can't even contain it, but I really, really, truly hope that this was able to meet you where you needed to be met today, and give you a little something, little something, something. Excuse me. To have a great day. A little something, something to confirm that you're on the right track. A little something, something that affirms to you, no matter what anybody else says, you keep following your freaking heart, okay? Because your heart knows the way. I am living proof. I followed my heart every step of the way. Sometimes I tripped and thought, I'm not going to follow her today. And then, then I realized I need to follow her because there's no other way. And then I'm here and I am like, wow, look how beautiful my world is getting. This is magical. Life really is truly meant to be magical. And whoever told us it was not was a freaking liar. And we can be mad at them another day, because this is a day of joy and I love you all. I'm going to leave it here. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. Let me know if this has helped you. because it's truly an honor. I love you so much. Till next time, have a blessed rest of your day.